Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. Gonna be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of the Manchester derby. So he's provided us with an update on Anthony Martial and Edinson Cavani. Anthony Martial is available for the Manchester derby. Edinson Cavani remains a doubt. Now, David De Gea, he was mentioned during the press conference. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has responded to the criticism that he received from Paul Scholes. Obviously, David De Gea was the culprit for the third goal against RB Leipzig. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, believes he will bounce back. Solskjaer said he still has faith in David De Gea and believes he remains one of the best goalkeepers in the world. David De Gea was named on the shortlist of FIFA's World Goalkeeper of the Year. David De Gea will remain our number one goalkeeper for this present time. Probably could remain our number one until the end of this season. This is David De Gea's 10th season at the football club, so he has been a long servant. There has been a few Manchester United fans saying that Dean Henderson should now be our number one because now is the right time to put him as number one. Paul Pogba was also mentioned. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that he's had conversations with Paul Pogba. Since his agent Mini Raiola came out and said that Paul Pogba wants to leave Manchester United. Solskjaer said he talks to his players on a daily basis. And Paul Pogba is no different to anyone else. Now, Pogba's agent Mini Raiola told 2 Sport before the RB Leipzig game that Paul Pogba's time at Manchester United is over. He said he's unhappy and he says he has to leave and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Now, I think there's a good chance that Paul Pogba will leave the football club in January. Apparently our club chefs want him out of the football club in January. And we've actually lowered Paul Pogba's asking price. It said we will accept as low as £50 million. There's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus. Now, these recent reports saying that Juventus are willing to offer Cristiano Ronaldo to Man United as part of a deal of them getting Paul Pogba back to Juventus. A lot of Manchester United fans, or should I say all Manchester United fans, would take Cristiano Ronaldo back at the football club. There's also been talks of Paulo Dybala coming to Man United as part of a deal of Pogba going back to Juventus. But Real Madrid have also been in for Paul Pogba before. Pogba made an admission earlier on this season saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. PSG and Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Paul Pogba didn't start against RB Leipzig, but he did come on. And to his credit, he made an impact. He scored in our last league game against West Ham. Very, very good goal as well. That was Paul Pogba's first start in the Premier League for over a month. He's just come back from an ankle injury. Ole did confirm that ankle injury was totally contrast to the one that he had last season. This is his 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined. He's made over 100 appearances for us in all competitions. You know, he's won 3 trophies at the club, and that was the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. And he's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. Not only that, he's one of the highest paid players at the club because he's on 290 grand a week. Now, during the last international break, like I've updated you a lot recently, you know, Paul Pogba made quite a few comments saying like this season's been the most difficult period in his career. He said like playing for France was a breath of fresh air. And in general, he was talking about his Man United struggles this season. Reflect on them comments, Pogba did receive a lot of criticism. You know, the France manager Didier Deschamps, he was talking a lot about Paul Pogba during the last international break, saying that obviously he cannot be happy with his situation at Man United for being left on the bench and for playing out of position. And he was saying like he understands, you know, Paul Pogba better than Ollie. Do you think Paul Pogba will start the game tomorrow against Manchester City? You know, there's a good chance. I think he will start, to be honest with you. I do. Now, there's a few other things that were mentioned in the press conference as well. I'm going to go through with you on that now. Let's just have a look. So yeah, this was something he mentioned in the press conference as well. He did actually, you know, say that Man United are getting better and better, despite the fact that we got knocked out of the Champions League. So, you know, Solskjaer came out and said, yes, I feel we're getting better and better and looking more like a United team that I want, with fast attackers, dynamic. We've got good players and individual quality that can create magic out of nothing. That's always been at United, but we can see more of the penetration and consistency everyone says we don't have. We've won our last 4 in the league, which has become a good run, and hopefully that continues. So that was on that. Go through a few of the other things that I mentioned as well. You know, this was Solskjaer on Champions League group and Europa League. He said, you know, it's been a step up from last season with the Europa League. Those 6 games have been great in testing levels because we played against 2 top teams. One in final and one in semi-final last year. We've learned any small mistakes we will get punished. Any margin can punish you. We were very, very close to going through in a very good group. That shows me a team moving forward from drawing to Colchester and barely beating Rochdale. Now he mentions we struggled to beat Astana, Partizan convincingly. We've taken steps from last year. A year back, short-term learning is we still have a little bit of a way to go. Of course, compete and go and win the Champions League because that's our aim, to win trophies and be contenders. So yeah, and he did mention that we will not press the panic button. Pep Guardiola's come out, by the way, and said that Solskjaer doesn't need support, despite him being under pressure at the football club. So yeah, so these were some of the stuff that were mentioned during the press conference. Now, this game against Manchester City is a must-win game for Manchester United, because we're going into this game on the back of a 3-2 loss against RB Leipzig. But we did win our last league game against West Ham by 3-1. I think we are sitting 6th in the Premier League at the moment. Manchester City are sitting 7th in the Premier League. They've been in a good vein of form recently. They recently beat Marseille 3-0. They beat Fulham last week 2-0 and they beat Burnley the other week 5-0. By the way, this is the 183rd Manchester derby, like I mentioned on my preview. Manchester City have got one of the best managers in the world in Pep Guardiola. He's been at City now for a good 4 years or so. At City, he has won 2 Premier League titles. He's also won the FA Cup, he's won a few League Cups, and he's also won the Charity Shield. You know, City became the first team to get 100 points in a Premier League season. They did this a few seasons ago. Earlier on this season, Pep Guardiola signed a 2-year contract with Man City. His priority, Guardiola's, is to win the Champions League with Manchester City because Man City have not yet won the Champions League. Guardiola did win the Champions League though when he was at Barcelona. I don't think he won it at Bayern Munich. I wasn't sure before, but I think he didn't win it at Bayern Munich, but he came close to winning it. You know, Manchester City won the Premier League title under Manuel Pellegrini. They also won it under Roberto Mancini. When they won it under Roberto Mancini, that was their first title in 44 years. Manchester City's. But we beat Manchester City 3 times out of the 4 times we played them last season. We're beating them at Old Trafford 2-0. We're beating them at the Etihad 2-1 in the league. And we're beating them 1-0 in the League Cup's second leg. Obviously, that wasn't enough though because it was 3-1 down from the first leg. City have got some very, very good players, you know, that we need to be aware of. You know, they've obviously got Gabriel Jesus. He'll be starting ahead of Aguero because Pep Guardiola's confirmed Aguero won't be starting the game tomorrow. They've obviously got Raheem Sterling. You know, Aguero's a very good player for them. Probably regarded as one of the best strikers in the Premier League. They've got Riyad Mahrez. They've also got Ferran Torres. They got Ferran Torres during the summer. They've obviously got Kevin De Bruyne. He's regarded as one of the best players in the Premier League. They've also got Ilkay Gundogan. He's been out of injury. They've got Eric Garcia. He's been out of injury. They've got Bernardo Silva. Obviously, one of their centre-halves is Nathan Ake. They got him during the summer from Bournemouth. They got Ruben Diaz. He's another one of their centre-halves. They got him during the summer as well. So I am really, really looking forward to this game. You know, after Manchester City, we are away to Sheffield. Manchester United should be winning that because Sheffield have been very, very poor this season. They're sitting bottom of the league and they haven't even won a game yet in the league this season. And after Sheffield United, we have got Leeds. That'll be a pretty tough game. It's going to be the first meeting between Man United and Leeds in the Premier League since 2004 because Leeds got relegated in 2004 and they was out of the top flight for a good 16 years or so. But obviously Leeds won the Championship last season. And obviously that was their first trophy in 28 years. So obviously now they are in the Premier League. Obviously after Leeds we've got Everton in the Carabao Cup, that'll be another hard game. Then we've got Leicester, that'll be another hard game. So games are coming up thick and fast for Manchester United. Now, my perception on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's not the long-term manager for Manchester United. Like I've said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is out of his depth at the football club. His decision making is very, very poor. And yeah, he does make far too many mistakes. You know, he obviously made mistakes against RB Leipzig. That was one of the reasons why we didn't beat RB Leipzig. And I've got to say our defensive errors also cost us against RB Leipzig. Obviously, Solskjaer went with 5 at the back against RB Leipzig. And I just think he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. Manchester United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Obviously, before he came to us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but Molde are a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. He enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. Didn't he? Solskjaer was good as a player, like I mentioned. He enjoyed 11 good years as a player for Man United, flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. His most iconic moment as a player was 1999, when he won the club the treble. Because he scored late on, didn't he? Don't forget. He's been at Manchester United now almost 2 years as Ollie. It's his 2-year anniversary at some point this month. We appointed him in December 2018, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. Ollie's under contract with the football club until 2022. Now, I can assure that he won't see out his contract at the football club. But Ed Woodward has come out several times to support Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Woodward's come out recently, said that he's fully backing Solskjaer going into the Manchester derby. So yeah. And I've said, haven't I, Solskjaer does deserve more backing at the football club, because during the summer transfer window he wasn't backed enough because we missed out on all of his priority targets. None of our managers have been backed enough since Ferguson left, and this is one of the main explanations why the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. And our recruitment policy has been poor. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. But this is his 2nd full season at Man United, and I did say, didn't I, this was always going to be a big season for him. I said he's obviously got to exceed his expectations if he is to remain Man United manager. And I said if we could finish in the top 4 this season, and if we could win a trophy, that would represent a very good season for Man United. Then that would give us something to build on. There's a good chance we could win a trophy this season. Solskjaer recently said that Man United can still win the Premier League, and he did make an admission saying that the job is not too big for him. But reflecting on our inconsistency, not all of the blame stems from Solskjaer. Some of the blame stems from him. Obviously there's certain players that have obviously got to take responsibility, because there has been players underperforming at Man United. So there you go. Don't forget, our senior players are concerned that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's constant changes are having a negative impact on our form. We've done well in the league recently. We've won our last 4 league games in a row. And we had a good start in Europe. We obviously won at Paris 2-1. We're beating RB Leipzig at home 5-0. That was probably one of the best games we had under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And then all of a sudden it went downhill. Lost to Istanbul Başakşehir 2-1. That was an embarrassment from Man United perspective. And then obviously we beat them at home 4-1. So then we only needed a point out of the 2 remaining games. And we didn't get that point. So we're now back into the Europa League. That's bad news, because obviously now Man United are going to lose money for this. You know what I mean? We've obviously done well away from home as well, because we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League since January. So we've gone almost a year now without losing away from home in the league, which is good. What? Yeah, why? Alright. We have won our last 9 away games in a row in the league as well. So there you go. But it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, isn't it, under Ollie? You know, 1 minute we're doing good, then we're doing poor, then we're doing average, you know what I mean? And it can't be like that. Our home form is a concern because we've only won 2 games at Old Trafford this season. I think it's 2 games. You know, we're beating West Brom 1-0. Very fortunate to win that. And we're beating RB Leipzig 5-0. We have been enjoying our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years. I think Ollie has got to identify his best 11 at the club because I don't think he knows his best 11. I think he's got to select the right formation. You know, Ollie's gone a lot with a 4-2-3-1 formation since he got appointed in as Man United manager. In a lot of the big games, he's gone with 3-5-2. A few times he's gone with 4-3-3. A few times he's gone with 4-1-2-1-2. So, yeah. There you go. I think Manchester United could still appoint Mauricio Pochettino in to replace Solskjaer. Now, there's been reports coming out today saying that Pochettino would take the Manchester United job right now, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under pressure. Pochettino wants to return to management because he's been managerless now for over a year. But I think he is a better manager than Solskjaer, like I've said. You know, he's well proven in the Premier League, his philosophy's good, he's dealt with top players and that. You know, my only element of concern about Pochettino is not won anything in terms of silverware. You know, he was the favourite to take over at Old Trafford after Jose Mourinho got sacked, didn't he? But obviously the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona and Zenit St Petersburg have been in for Pochettino. I think if Pochettino was to come in, he'd probably want Man United to sign the likes of Harry Kane and Dele Alli. So obviously he's worked with them before. He'd probably demand a director of footballing as well because that's one of the structural changes that we need at the club. You know, Pochettino did well in his 5.5 years with Tottenham. He guided them to their first ever Champions League final last year, guided them to 2 FA Cup semi-finals and guided them to the League Cup final. He must have spent over £200 million in the 5.5 years he was at Tottenham. Didn't he get Tottenham 5th as well in his first season there? Before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. He guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League era. And before Southampton, he was at Espanyol. He was on Monday Night Football earlier on this season saying that he's ready for the return to management because he's missing football. And he said he was watching the likes of Man United, Chelsea and City in that earlier on this season, probably try to weigh up, you know, who he wants his next club to be, basically. You know, obviously, Pochettino has not only been the manager though on our agenda. You know, you've had Julian Nagelsmann on our agenda. We've had Massimiliano Allegri on our agenda a few times. Reports from Germany recently said that Thomas Tuchel was on our agenda. But yes, we definitely need a change of management. It's good that we are making plans for next year because obviously next year we are looking to make more signings. And obviously we're looking to get rid of more players next year as well. So we've got to focus on the outcomings as well as the incomings. I think there's a good chance Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could still be Man United manager in January. But I don't think he'll be Man United manager at the end of this season. You'll get some Man United fans still saying give him till the end of this season and see, you know, whereabouts we are. But yeah, I definitely think he has got to go. Like I said though, I have taken positives from his tenure. You know, he has made some good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. You know, he's spent over £200 million and he's enjoyed 4 transfer windows. You know, we have enjoyed good periods under him. We've seen a lot of players depart the club since he got recommended in. He did well in his first full season last season, and I also like the way he has promoted the youth. You know what I mean? But next year, I think the players we are going to get rid of is Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones, Sergio Romero. Sergio Romero's obviously now our third choice goalkeeper. Like I said, good chance Pogba will leave next year. Matic could also leave next year, because I think he's inconsistent. Matic could leave next year. You know, a few weeks ago there was rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan in January, because Williams is now our third choice left back following the arrival of Alex Telles. There was obviously rumours as well of Dean Henderson going out on loan. You know what I mean? But in the last 8 years, Man United have been very, very inconsistent. You know, we haven't dominated English football since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. You know, 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson left: Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho. You know, we've brought around 36 players in since Ferguson left, and we've spent over £1 billion on them. So people will say, reflect on the money we've spent, we should be much more of a commanding position than we are in. You know what I mean? But yeah. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.